Yeah, so part two, sort of a filler between now and when I post the Governor General's letter tonight at 11:59 or 23:59 hours. See 100 hours this evening. As I said in the little one before, it's more ceremonial at this stage. It's really to do with working with the clock. So just to get into a bit more detail or observation, we know that the chain of command is correct, that the Governor General's in charge through the Director General of Health, through the Ministry of Defence to the Prime Minister or whoever's standing out for their meetings. So a factual thing which I've got the documentation to show, which will be attached to the disclosure stuff, that the Governor General actually proclamated the epidemic notice and health notice on the 25th of the 3rd, 2020, and it wasn't proclamated in the House until the 27th of the 3rd, 2020, 23:59 hours, 300 hours. So these 2 days there, right? 5, 6, 7. These 2 days there when it was signed to be proclamated. In the detail, it actually says of that evening of the signing of it, if I've read it correctly. So once other people read it, they might read it differently to me. But either way, it was signed by the Director General of Health on the 25th of the 3rd, 2020, and not proclamated in the House until the 27th of the 3rd, 2020, and that was the level 4 notice. The calculations with the travellers, as we're hearing, that one of the major sort of key points they keep going on about is that the travellers tend to be where they find, if they've contacted people in the last month or something, that seems to be where they're tracing what outbreaks they are, which are minimal, as we all know, and there's big questions around it in general. So these 2 days in lieu, sort of, so to speak. So I had to pick my old man up from Auckland on the Monday, the 16th of the 3rd. And because we'd gone to Auckland, I'd gone to isolation as he did. So I've been in that. So, but if travellers have sort of been sort of dribbling in over the last 4 weeks, let's say, you know, our calculation of a month was the 24th. We'll get into a bit more about that. But what I'm saying is they've sort of given it 2 days sliding thing. As I've said, they gulagged them at the hotels or whatever for 14 days, but there's still some dribbling back in that sort of corridor or discussion or messaging. So that sort of creates a sliding rule of sorts when it comes to the control of the outbreaks, potentially. So the traveller parts sort of work out, but I'll work into that. So on the Monday the 20th 2020 announcement at 4 p.m, or what was that, 1400 hours, that was a resetting of their clock. They didn't do a proclamation for the next 7 days, really. They just said if all goes well this week, they'll drop to level 3 for 14 days. By law, they're meant to proclamate every 7 days, but they didn't. They didn't do their 1 o'clock address on the 7th day. They've done the skip. If you remember in one of my videos where I was talking about, say if it was severe and the outbreaks were everywhere and we were losing thousands of people here, there and everywhere, then they would possibly have to be shut down hard out for 3 months, and if they weren't able to sit Parliament in 3 months, they had 14 days after that to physically sit. Now, how I'm sort of seeing what they're doing with the numbers is trying to drag it out to a point where they can get as close to their announced election day, where people can actually go to the booth and vote. Or does it become a digital vote, which we shouldn't allow? I don't think it's constitutional or even just justifiable that they aren't made to sit in the House. So by dropping at that level, as I said in one of my videos, actually negates that 3 months now. But in a way it doesn't, because I've only given it 14 days. That 14 days really only makes the adjustment for the travellers. So it really is still a level 4, but they're saying it's level 3. And sort of allowing certain amount of industry to get back to work, which is fine. But, you know, once again, I don't think I'm telling you anything different. The different messaging. So what they're actually saying is, do what you please, but we've got guidelines, and if you get caught out, we'll decide whether you're charged or not. And that's another story, the judiciary. So what they've done in the most part is what I talked about before. They've done an affidavit of the level drop. They haven't actually proclaimed it. So it means it hasn't, you know, they're just saying it and it hasn't happened yet. So Monday, yeah, say it happens, that's cool. That sort of negates it's starting to buy into the discussion about having a virtual cabinet meeting on the set date. And the set date should be somewhere around about the 30th of July. The 12-week notion at the beginning of this thing is really the key number here. So yeah, so it was really just the resetting of the clock for the manifest to arrive. Their biggest struggle at the moment is having supplies for on the ground people. So it's turning out a bit of a mission for them to get there. So the manifest thing and media starting to cotton on, so that's all really good stuff. So this one's really just a means of contacting in that manner. I think Lee's just turned up. Yep, upstairs there. So I'll sign off there for now. Alright, get your point.